Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Ben's Camera Show. And yes, as the comments are already saying, this provides some needed escapism. Hurrah for the next hour. That's right. You're safe here. This is Ben's Camera Show. All we like is cameras and associated stuff. Anyway, let's cut the music. And there we go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Ben's Camera Show. And it's been an interesting week since the last show. The last show, if you didn't see it, was all about Bolex cameras. And I got a very interesting email from Manny Salazar from T.O. Manny's World regarding the Bolex 155, which is this amazing machine, which I showed off last episode. If you didn't see last episode about Bolexes, check it out. Anyway, I like to start the show by going on a bit about issues that came up during the previous show. And what Manny said, he drew my attention to something quite interesting, and it was in the Bolex instruction book for this camera. Now, of course, being a consummate professional, I never read the instruction book until I get into trouble, and then I go straight back to it. But before I do anything at all, let's just go into my little box here. And here I go. Vroom. Where's he gone? Oh, here we are. I never get tired of that. So, yes, the Bolex 155. We're going to pick up straight away where we left off. There is going to be a little bit of overlap from the previous episode. And what Manny said was, I can't quote his email verbatim, but he said, have you ever tried doing a dissolve with that camera? And firstly, I thought he's talking about a different camera, because ain't no dissolve function in this thing. Dissolves, for those of you who are not consummate professionals, dissolve is where one scene fades into another scene. Okay, it's not a fade out, or a fade in. It's where one scene just sort of gets more and more opaque, and the next scene just sort of slides in. It's the kind of thing you can do in 10 seconds on Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, but it takes a very expensive camera and a big pain in the bum to do it on Super 8. So I thought, what's Manny talking about? Dissolves on a Bolex 155? So I said he must have been talking about a next generation camera. It must be the 160 or something that had some special dissolve things. Because generally with cameras, with Super 8 cameras, is that to do a dissolve, you fade out and then rewind the film. No small task on Super 8. Rewind the film and then fade in the next scene. Okay, and not many cameras have it. I think like some of the high-end Canons have it. The Nikon R10 has it. Nizo, some of the decent Nizos can do it. Not an awful lot, because to be honest, rewinding Super 8 film is a bit of a mug's game if you haven't got a cartridge that you can open up inside a bag and properly do it. I made a whole film about rewinding Super 8. It's not designed to be rewound, and dissolves can basically go back a few frames and everything, and then carry on. So anyway, Manny's here. Great. He can give some enlightenment maybe later. So anyway, he said the Bolex 155 can do dissolves, and there's something called an optical dissolve. I said, what in the hell is he talking about? So he sent me the PDF of the instruction book, which I've got right here. I'm going to activate the there we go, the upload cam. So yeah, this picture on the front, I'm going to talk about that later. Believe it or not, I have something to say about that. So here's the instruction, and that one. So here's the instruction book, you know, very nice, very well set out and everything. And he said, look at page 15. I'm going to read it. It's up here. It's a bit complicated. Optical dissolve, it says. Something called optical dissolve. What the hell is an optical dissolve? It says, by maneuvering the distance knob, when the zoom knob is set to telephoto position, you can obtain an optical dissolve. They've put it in quotes, at least. An optical dissolve. This special effect permits for instance, a smooth and pleasing transition between two scenes. What? What are they talking about? Optical dissolve, smooth transition between two scenes. See page 28. Well, let's go to page 28. And by the miracle of a track wheel on my mouse, I can go, here we go, page 28. Right, we're jumping straight into it here. Hey, Tony Hickson's in the house. Hi, Tony. Make films full of life and movement. Okay, I love this. This is at the very back of the instruction book. Whoop. It says a few suggestions. Okay, the Bolex, I'm going to read this out very quickly. The Bolex 155 macro zoom camera enables you to introduce in your films a transition that serves the same purpose as a lap dissolve, but without any of the tedious procedures necessary for producing the latter. Lap dissolve, that's what that was what I was talking about, where you fade out, rewind, fade in. This special dissolve, in inverted commas again, is obtained simply by maneuvering the distance knob at an appropriate speed thoroughly, zoom knob set to telephoto position, semicolon. The extreme long focusing range of the camera enables the area of sharpness to be shifted completely for producing a remarkably professional effect. For instance, a close-up can be dissolved to a second subject slightly further away, and this dissolved into a long shot. This optical dissolve, which provides an original scene transition with an illusion of depth, has the added advantage of being extremely simple to produce, indoors or not. Keep the camera as steady as possible while filming. The slightest jerk is magnified on the screen and results in unsteady pictures. Well, we knew that. The shape of your camera ensures an excellent hold. Okay. However, if circumstances permit, it is always advisable to use a monopod or tripod. Now, that last stuff makes sense, but what the hell are they on about? The maneuver, I had to read this about 6 times and then 6 more times to work out what the hell these 1950s French guys were, or Swiss guys were actually talking about. Dissolved using a distance knob. Anyway, I worked it out. I figured it out in the end. Distance knob is this thing. It's what most sane people would call a focus ring. Of course, you usually have most normal cameras, you have the focus ring around the this part of the camera. On the Bolex, it's here. And I mentioned in the last show how there's an insane amount of focal distance you can cover just by a little bit of a knob, just a little bit of a tweak on this knob here. So I realized the only kind of thing you can do, dissolve or otherwise, with the distance knob is a rack focus or a focus pull, right? Focus pull. What's a focus pull? Focus pulling. Well, I'm going to show you. Focus pulling is where they adjust focus from one point of the picture to another. I've got some nice examples here from Hollywood. Here we go. Here's James Bond. He's walking into the room. This is in Casino Royale. And he takes off his shirt. There's a classic Bond thing. He looks and watch this. Da, da, da. See? Focus. It pulls focus. Again, on the martini. Someone's done a wee in his martini. And he's starting to feel the effects. You see? Again, Jurassic Park. Look. Clever girl. Quick focus pull. Fight Club between the bottles and Helena Bonham Carter. I went to school with her. And then look, guns. You've got the focusing on the gun, focusing on, that's from Goodfellas, more focus pull. Okay, you got it. Fat rack focus. It's a way of showing the audience what to concentrate on. Okay. Now, what they're talking about with this thing is that you focus on something far away and you have something in the shot but close by and unfocused, and then with a little bit of a tweak on this thing, you just pull straight from one distance to another. So it's not a dissolve at all, Bolex Payard. Excuse me very much. This is not a focus. This is a focus pull. It's not a dissolve, sorry. It's a focus pull. Anyway, with that in mind, I tried it out. I had a go. Of course I had a go. And I'm going to show you what I got. Okay, so this is what I did. Okay, so I got a little robot here. little robot, which is what I use quite often for my tests, because it can wind up and move without needing another person involved. So I got it on top of a mic stand, the same mic stand I've got the mic on right now, and I got it close by to the camera, and you can see in the background there's just the sort of the rest of the kitchen. And look at this! Wow, pulling focus from back to front. So that's what they're talking about. It's not a dissolve, it's not a transition. It's a simple back and forth focus. And because the Bolex has that tiny little, I'll pause here for a sec. Because the Bolex has that tiny little knob, you can actually yank the focus from infinity to like a couple of inches with just a tiny little movement. You see, most cameras, let me get one here. Let's try this one. Okay, if you wanted to pull focus using, say, this Canon, the focus, like any other normal camera, is here. You go from 1.2 meters all the way to infinity. Okay, and that's a bit of a hassle. You're going to move the camera around. It's going to be a bit imperfect. There's a lot of distance to cover there between infinity and a couple of inches. So if you want to rack focus on something like this, you should have like a bar coming out of here, and ideally you need a focus puller, which is a job, by the way. My very good friend Mr. X used to be a focus puller, and he told me it's a very highly paid job because it's a very, very difficult job to do. Very often they have, I'm getting on a tangent here, but they have a remote control focus on really professional cameras. And the guy stands there with a or woman, I guess, but usually you see a guy. He stands there with a knob that actually remotely controls the focus on the camera, because he can't be going up and jiggling the camera around. So anyway, back to this here. So yeah, so lovely looking. This is on Kodak 500T, and it came out very nicely. So with the Bolex, with the short distance that you can focus, and then with the short distance that it takes to pull focus on the Bolex, you can actually get some rather nice, and they are correct, some rather professional looking results. I put the robot even closer and zoomed all the way into it, and this is so damn close that you have to get, this thing can focus on stuff that's basically touching the camera. That robot head there is touching the top of the camera. It's that close. And here's the result of that. Boom, focus the background. So the foreground, is there a robot? Is there a robot around it? Yes, there's a robot. There's the robot. Back and forth. So that's what they're talking about. I don't know why they don't just say, why don't you try pulling focus? Oh, that's just the robot when I wound it up. See, there's little sparks inside its mouth. I had to put that footage in there. It's very nice. So that's what they're talking about, the Bolex people, when they talk about this this so-called optical dissolve. Don't know why that didn't catch on. Optical dissolve. I've never heard such nonsense. And the funny thing is that this, trying this out, and the dissolve and the focus and all the rest of it. See if you can see what's going on there when I change focus. You can't really. It gave me a focus. It gave me a focus on what to do tonight's show about. That's right. I'm not going to do an entire show on focus pulling. But then again, I am not. I'm going to do something quite similar. Not similar. I'm going to do something quite related to that. That's right, because tonight's show is all about lenses, everyone. And I am outside of my comfort zone here. I am outside of my wheelhouse, and there's stuff about lenses which is, I went down such a damn rabbit hole that I'm very possibly won't know what I'm talking about on several occasions during this show. So forgive me, I'm basically one Google search ahead of the rest of you in terms of lenses. What I do know about lenses is they're very important. In fact, real hardcore camera people will tell you it's all about the lens. Now let's think about that for a minute. It's all about the lens. What about the mechanism that pulls the film through? What about what about all the important sound capabilities? What about the frames per second? Okay, it's metaphor time, everyone. Metaphor time. Okay, if you think, this is the best I came up with. If you think of a singer, think of a song, think of a pop song, a piece of music with a singer. Okay, you are listening to what was recorded in a studio, a recording studio. Now, the back of your camera, the back. I hope you know what I mean by back. I'm going to show you. All right, so this is a camera back. This is without lenses. This is the old Bolex I showed at the previous episode. Okay, the back is basically a mechanism to wind film past a gate. And that's the main thing that it does. Let's have a look. So this is the camera back. It pulls the film from here to here. It's mechanical. It's got lots of moving parts. It's very important. But the lens, think of someone recording in a recording studio. The back is like the recording studio. It's like the recording studio and the microphone. The lens is like the singer's voice. Okay? That's how important it is. In fact, the very character of a camera can be changed by changing the lens. The lens is the eye of the camera. It makes the difference between a good picture and a bad picture. It makes the most difference between a good picture and a bad picture. A camera with a crappy lens, it doesn't matter if the back is 4K. It doesn't matter if you're shooting with a red camera. If you've got a crappy lens on it, the picture's going to look like crap. Okay, so the lens is very important. We're going to talk about lenses tonight, like I said already. So where did that get me? Well, before we go into lenses, there's something. I mean, while we're on the Bolex instructions. In fact, let's go back to the Bolex instructions because I want to just make a point here. What am I doing in the big screen? Let's go back into the little screen here. Here we go. I'm safe here. Firstly, why such strange language with stuff like, distance knob? I'm sorry, that really gets me, distance knob. Whoever called it a distance knob? And then I saw these pictures. It's a nice lady with with some sort of attachment on the front. Here's another nice lady filming flowers. Okay. Then I looked at a few more Bolex. Get this up here. Promotional materials. Let's get this green screen off here. Here's our lady filming a flower close up because this camera can do it. And here's let's get that horrible picture off the back. There's another Bolex picture. It's another lady putting the film into a Bolex. And this one says, "You can do so much more with a Bolex macro zoom camera." Another lady. They're using women to sell these cameras, and I believe that these cameras were marketed towards women. I think someone in the Bolex boardroom says, "You know what? We need to get more women using cameras," which isn't a bad idea, really. I mean, what the hell? There's no gender bar to use a camera. Anyone can use a camera, male or female. But the Bolex, I don't know. There's a certain sort of direction in their promotional materials. Look at this. This is a front page of Bolex Reporter magazine, and the front says travel and vacation and whatever, and it's got this slightly creepy angle. This picture of a lady sunbathing. And it was obviously taken from the promenades down onto the lady without her consent. Now, I spoke to my daughter about this, who's the one I go to for, politically correct analysis. And she said that's the male gaze. Gaze as in G-A-Z-E. And there's a lot of this in old camera promotional material. There's a lot of, it seems to be either they are promoting these cameras towards men filming women, sometimes possibly without their consent, or they're saying, well, yes, ladies can pick up one of these cameras too. Look at this. You can You can put the film in, and you can film a lovely flower. Guys, it's enough. Let's move away from this. This is very 1960s viewpoint here. We're just like the technology. Damn, my green screen is acting up tonight. So yeah, I don't know. It's whoops, that's coming later. So anyway, that's just an idea I had. It was just I wondered whether this Bolex instruction book isn't in fact some unbelievable act of mansplaining. I never really understood mansplaining, but then when if everything gets reduced to the level of cameras, then I can understand it. Calling it a distance knob. I mean, really. Anyway, so that's the Bolex. That's the rack focus, and we're going to get on to lenses tonight. Lenses. Well, right. What have we got first then? Let me look at my notes here. If you find a Bolex advert, yes, I've done that. Right, okay, I've got to give some shout outs firstly. Some shout outs. Other than Manny, who got me onto this whole rabbit hole. BolexH16user.net. Amazing website. It was so helpful in researching this show tonight. It's got details of every single lens ever made for the Bolex. I know there's other lenses. We're going to go through them, but this is a great website if you ever go to it. BolexH16user.net. Also, very useful. A filmmaker's guide to sensor sizes and formats. A guy called Mark Lafleur. Sharegrid.com. I'll share all these links on my website. Oh, did I have a website? Yes, it's right above here. ZeroBudgetFilmSchool.com. Zero Budget Film School. This is my website, and in case you didn't see it, it's got all the previous shows. It's got links that I talk about. It's got a gallery. It's got various nice little Super 8 and whatever stuff. So go to ZeroBudgetFilmSchool.com and have a look. But anyway, before you go to that, go to sharegrid.com with Mark Lafleur, because Mark Lafleur set out what I think was the very best guide to sensors and lenses and the relationship between them, and crop factors, and what's this, image circles and lens coverage. I learned so much from this. There's an awful lot. I might actually refer back to this website, Mark Lafleur. Thank you, Mark, if you ever get to see this. You were very helpful to me, and I hope more people go to your site, because he obviously did a lot of work on this. Benjamin Merritt says, your daughter is spot on. Yeah, she's going to be very happy to hear that, because yeah, she loves to be spot on. What else? What other websites did I use? No, I think that's all for now. So let's talk about some lenses. So I showed you the lens test. Let's have a look what else I've got to show you here. Right. Okay. Some Super 8 cameras don't have interchangeable lenses. In fact, most Super 8 cameras don't have interchangeable lenses. The lovely Bolex that I showed you before. Fixed lens, not only fixed lens, it's got 17 elements somehow arranged in here. You can't change the lens though. What else do we have here that you can't change the lens on? Here he is. Okay, yes. Well, this one I just showed you before. Lovely camera, Canon Auto Zoom 814, fixed lens, can't change it. If you're going to have a fixed lens, better be a good one, right? And this one is a good one, the Bolex. I'll put it over here. I'll be getting that later. Basically, this show is limited by what it is, anything I can actually reach. Let's get that off. So, movable lenses. That's what it's all about. When you buy a Super 8 camera, you'll notice that the really expensive ones I'm talking Beaulieu's, which we can see later on. The Lycina. Bloody hell, which one? What else? What else has an interchangeable lens? Not many of them. The Nalcom NTL1000, I think it's called, interchangeable lens. Maybe even the Nikon ones have got interchangeable lenses. The good thing about interchangeable lenses is that you can choose the right lens for the job. Now, I want to thank Ed Sayers. Ed Sayers, I almost invited him on the show tonight, but I'm saving him up for a special show to showcase what he's up to. Ed Sayers is he lent me this lens basically. This is a prime 100mm lens. Now 100mm, that is a pretty damn long telephoto lens right there. I should have just said Ed Sayers. He runs the Straight 8 Film Festival. Brilliant. If you're into Super 8, go to straight8.net and straight number 8.net and enter his thing there. What's this? Logmar Tiomani says, yes, that's true. The Logmar also, well, bloody hell, we're getting really into Tiom. That has an interchangeable lens. The new Kodak Super 8 camera, which we may never see, also has an interchangeable lens. Most of these lenses have C mounts. And I'm going to show you some footage of this one. I'm going to show you some footage of this 100mm prime lens compared to zoom lenses of the same, from the same camera. Let's have a look. Let's see what the difference is there. So here we go. So here's this with a 100mm lens. Now I went to the top of a place called Parliament Hill in London. Nice view of the city. And oh wait, this wasn't at Parliament Hill. This was at the Dartmouth Park Reservoir. Also nice view of London. That's for locals, this view of London. Super 8. Parliament Hill is for tourists, and the Dartmouth Park Reservoir, that's where the actual real North Londoners go for their nice views of London. So yeah, you can get amazing views. It was a misty day. There's all the skyscrapers on there's the BT Tower. Now look at this. You can look how far you can go. There's the skyscrapers. There's the middle distance. All those houses. Some flats closer to. You can get so close with this, and it's sharp as well. Okay, that particular shot wasn't sharp. Probably my fault. And this was okay. You wouldn't know to see it, but this was filmed miles and miles away. Not miles and miles, but a decent distance away. This 100mm lens, I fell in love with it. It was hard to part with it, hard to give it back to Ed, because it was such an amazing lens. Not only could it film far away, but it could film actually not fairly close up as well. Okay, so here's the 100mm. This was filmed. This is my focus chart. This thing is about oh god, it's about that circle you see is about 10 inches across, maybe a foot across. Maybe the whole thing is about 1.5 feet across. That's A3 size. And I filmed that 10 meters away. That's how good this 100mm lens is. 10 meters away. And then this is it. This is 10 meters away also with a Schneider Kreuznach Optivaron 6 to 66mm lens. So this is 66mm. The previous one was 100mm. So when you're looking at lenses, just bear in mind that 100mm is that close, that telephoto, and 66 is that far away. It's not as sharp, not quite as sharp. And that's the thing with the difference between prime lenses and zoom lenses. Zoom lenses are great. You've got a lot of flexibility, but they are not quite as crystal clear and sharp. And I even did a focus pull at the end of this. Not that you could tell really that much that was focus pulling from the back to the front. But never mind. Look at the shot. Look, okay, focus distance. 100mm, 66. This is with an Angio 1.9, 8 to 64mm lens at 5.6. Yeah, you can read too. Again, slightly softer. Not that you'd really notice unless you are really looking out for it. But yeah, the distance, the prime lens really is sharper, and oh, I'll get onto that bit later. So where am I going there? That was with the 100mm lens. This one, an EVA 100mm lens, and it's not that big, funnily enough. You expect like those really telephoto lenses to be basically like telescopes, but they're not. This one, okay, it's a decent length. It's about, I don't know, it's about 8 inches long. And here's a picture. I've got a Beaulieu here, and here's about how the scale of it approximately with the Beaulieu. Not bad. It's about the same length, maybe slightly shorter than some of the Beaulieu's zoom lenses. And the thing is, of course, you know, if you wanted to film anything in a sort of a close-up format, you're going to have to get at least sort of 10 meters away from your subject. But then again, you wouldn't be using one of these for normal, casual use. You're going to be using a prime lens with a much wider angle, such as this Switar 10mm lens. 10mm lens. Well, what's a 10mm? Well, 10mm is wide angle. Okay, from about 10 to about 25 is pretty much wide angle. From 25 to about, I don't know, 55 is your middle distance, and from 55 up, that's your telephoto. Now this, the nice thing is about these prime lenses, let's get that off, and some white background there, is that once you've put a little one on, if you're just going to do widescreen, the whole Beaulieu camera becomes quite a dinky little, quite a much more lightweight thing to film with. See, so you can just film with that, and that's a decent wide angle, and that's why these cameras with interchangeable lenses are so good. Because you can you can choose the right lens for the job. Basically, if you've got a zoom lens, that's your kind of you know, jack of all trades. But if you're really seriously into it, you will have, or you will find, or you will somehow get hold of a whole bunch of different prime lenses. They are sharper than zoom lenses, and they are also I think they can go wider. You can get more light into them. This one goes from 22. This one goes all the way down to 1.6 f1.6. Not bad, 1.6. Whereas the zoom you put on these goes to 1.9. So it doesn't. You can't quite use it on a more darker situation. Now this is an Geno zoom lens for the Beaulieu, excuse me. See, and then when you put that on, I'm just going to hold it here because I don't want to bother putting it all on. If you put that on there, the whole thing becomes a bit bigger. But it gets bigger than that. Bloody hell, it gets bigger than that. Check this out. Okay, so here's the Beaulieu with a massive great lens on it. That's what I want to show you. This was my 50th birthday present to myself. A Beaulieu 4008 ZM4. This requires music. The Beaulieu 4008 ZM4. I've shown you my ZM2. ZM4, it's newer, and it is a monster. It has this gigantic lens on it. This is a, what's it called? It's got a Schneider Kreutzach Beaulieu Optivaron 1.4, 6mm to 70. My God, 6 to 70. That's a big range. I've got some footage to show you with shot with this thing. The thing is that it gets so damn heavy. It's just like when you walk around with this thing, it is a slab. It's not so much a camera as a slab. It is a heavy bastard. Let's look at some footage with this thing. I'm jumping all around here, but never mind. What have we got? Okay, so here's here's what that lens can do. So here's a maximum zoom. Again on the heath. This is at Parliament Hill. Some nice shots of the skyline. Now wait, I'm going to zoom out, and then you're going to see exactly how far out that thing can get. Wow. Wow, all the way to that. And that's a wide angle right there. You've got your wide angle and telephoto all in the same lens. I know that's what a zoom lens is all about, basically. But some very, very nice footage here if you want to zoom in. If you get far away and zoom all the way in, and not with this one, but that's just, there's my kids on the heath. I was on my 50th birthday. Yeah, you can zoom all the way. I had to use my son's shoulder as a tripod for this one. You can zoom all the way in and get some very, very, very nice footage with that. Also, with the Beaulieu ZM4, there's a couple of things that it's really only two things which it does, which the ZM2 can't do. I'll focus on that first. Firstly, the frames per second, your FPS level. Can I get it even closer? Let's try and zoom. Let's try and focus on this. Well, you don't need to see this. It goes up to 80 frames a second. So you can get some absolutely blistering. Oh, damn it. Where's my... some amazing, amazing slow motion on this thing. Which I cannot focus on it. What's going on? Damn this webcam. Oh dear. That's really not right. There we go. Okay, so it goes up to 80. Never mind. Take my word for it. Also, with this lens, let's see if I can very, very carefully. I'm going to zoom rather than focus. This lens has a couple of things which the previous Beaulieu lenses didn't have. In that it has, here we go, the macro. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not. Ironically, for a show all about lenses, my focusing is all up the spout today. Okay, the macro. It goes down to 1.4 f-stop. The macro, you just press this button. It's a much nicer thing than the previous one, where there was this sliding switch, which always felt a bit flimsy to me. And here, very important, you can switch between the daylight filter and daylight filter off. Although I did read that apparently when the daylight filter is off, you get some transparent gel in front of the image, which is not perfect. That's why some people have these things removed and they just use a gel on the front. So daylight filter on and off right here on the lens. That's nice. Instead of having it inside the Beaulieu. What am I talking about with daylight filters? Well, I've got some footage to show you. Daylight filter, basically, it's that orangey filter, which you need to use when you shoot with tungsten film. Tungsten film. Okay, I'll show you the difference. Tungsten film is for tungsten light, which in itself is becoming a bit of an old hat. So tungsten light is your basically incandescent light, your normal light bulb light. And if the film is suited for light bulb light, then here, as you can see in a daylight situation, it all looks a bit blue. That's what tungsten film looks like in daylight without the. And here, this is with the filter on, and it all looks a bit more warm, golden. See, the light is actually the color balance is better. I know that you can do all of this stuff on Premiere and Final Cut Pro afterwards, after the fact. But let me tell you, if you're using tungsten light and you're shooting tungsten film and you're shooting outdoors, it is always better to correct the light before it even gets onto your film. Okay, we've learned something today. So tungsten, yeah, put the filter on if you can. Right. So let's have a look what the comments are. Whoa, that's very capable, fantastic footage, says Benjamin. Thank you, Benjamin. There's a high proportion of people called Ben watching Ben's camera show. I don't know if they Googled their own names with the word camera on there, or if it's just coincidence. But Bens out there, I salute you. I can't think of a single Ben who disgraces the name of Ben. Are there any bad Bens? I don't know. I'm sure I can think of one. None come to mind straight away. We're all decent types. Oh dear, that's not to take away from those poor people out there who aren't called Ben. Anyway, I'm getting completely off track here. Right, the Beaulieu 4008 ZM4. I think I've gone over the ZM4 enough. It's similar to the ZM2, very similar. It can go a bit faster, and this one is well, it's got a nice lens on it. Although some people complain about the lens, and it's very it's clean. The only thing is with these Beaulieu's, and this is a very important thing to tell you, if you're going to go around putting prime lenses on these things, watch out for RX lenses. This is a Switar 10mm RX lens. RX lens. RX means it is set up for a what's it called? I've gone blank here. It's set up for a camera that is a what you see through the eyepiece is what you get through the lens. Reflex, that's the word. The reflex is a lonely child. Reflex cameras. If you were to buy an RX lens, okay, I'm going to try and explain this. Explain this as best I can. This is basically a lens for a 16mm Bolex. Oh, there I go, messing it up again. It's for a 16mm Bolex, and a reflex Bolex 16mm camera has, of course, a kind of prism inside it, which diverts some of the light to your film. Should put it this way round, really. And this is a Boleus. This is the wrong thing to. But anyway, it diverts some of the light to your film, and some of the light it puts it through a couple of prisms and sends it to your eyepiece. Okay. So why should that matter what kind of lens you put on these Beaulieu's? Well, you can't put an RX lens on a Beaulieu camera because this happens. I'm going to show you what happened when I tried to use this nice wide-angle lens with this Beaulieu. Get ready for some disappointment here. Okay, firstly, I got to say I used this with Boots expired film, so that's why it's all pink. Secondly, yeah. Everything came out blurred. This is at the Science Museum in London, outside the Science Museum. Blurry, horrible, blurry, and more blurriness. Complete failure. That was it. Luckily, that's all I shot. I didn't shoot an entire cartridge with this thing. Missed it? I'll show you again. Well, I might as well get some use out of this footage, seeing as where's it gone? Seeing as as I wasted a whole afternoon. Now, why is this? Why did it all turn out blurry? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because you can't just put any C-mount lens on these Beaulieu's. Beaulieu has a different different system for diverting some of the light towards the eyepiece. It doesn't use the same prisms as the Bolex does, because when it goes through the prisms, the Bolex adjusts. They design their RX lenses to focus a slightly longer, something like I've got it written down here. From the lens to the film plane on a Beaulieu that's supposed to work is it's called a flange focus. It's 17.52 millimeters. This Sonny Boy, is something like 20 millimeters flange focus. And the upshot of that is that everything that this is sending down into the camera is focusing about sort of like there rather than there. Okay, so be warned, if you're going to use a Switar lens on this thing, make sure it's not an RX lens. That's annoying because I bought this lens for my Bolex and I thought, oh, it's going to work on the Bolio as well. Didn't work. In fact, I'll show you what it looks like when it's supposed to work. Because Ed Sayers, bless his heart, he lent me a Bolex non-RX lens. Damn, we're really right through the rabbit hole here. And it looked fantastic. Oh, not that. No, let's get that away. Yeah, it looked great. He lent me a non-RX lens. Okay, that's the 100 mil. We'll just zoom past, get past this. Okay, so check this out. Not this. It's coming in a sec. Okay, so no, not that either. Jesus. Here we go. So that's a 10mm Bolex, sharp as a tack. My God, that's sharp. And that's further away from the thing. Now check this out. This thing has macro like you wouldn't believe. I got so damn close. Here we go, macro. This is a 1 pence coin. That's about the size of an American cent. And there's a copy of a magazine there. So this is how close and how sharp. Damn, that's sharp. How close and sharp that that can get. Okay, that's not what I was talking about. Let's go back again. I'm so proud of this shot. It's just so, it looks so damn good. That's why I tried to, yeah, look at that. I'm going to pause that. That's a 1p. 1p. I'm going to show you how big a 1p is. There, that's a 1p coin. That's about the size of my pupil. And that's how good it looks. This is on Super 8. Damn, it looks like 16 mil. That's how good it looks. So yeah. So basically, be warned. Be warned because you can't necessarily. That went on the Bolio. It worked fine. If you get yourself a camera which does has changeable lenses, do your research before you buy any lenses for that damn thing, because not all of them will work. Yeah, that's what I learned. I learned that the hard way. So enough of that. Enough of that. What have we got next to show you? Right, so that's the Bolex lens. That's the Heath footage, a ZM4, with and without the filter. Ah, okay, right. We're going to look at some actual lenses here. I said that was a C mount. That's right, and I meant what I said. Just use that as an example. I'm going to show you the difference between C mounts and other mounts. Okay, so that's C mount. Let's get the pictures off there. And we are going to zoom in a bit. All right, so here's your 10mm C mount lens. And here, this little tiny person here, that's a D mount lens. And D mount, D for Derek, they generally go onto stuff like this little Bolex B8. I showed you this film camera in the last show. Go look at episode 11 if you want to see all about this camera and Bolexes. So there's a D mount lens which is small, and there's a C mount lens which is big. This one goes on 16mm generally. This one goes on 8mm generally. And while we're at it, here's a D mount lens. I showed you this last week as well, but it is relevant. So let's bring it back in for another go. Zoom out a bit. This funny looking fella is a D mount lens. See, D. So it's the same as this one, but it's got its own eyepiece. So there's a prism in there, and it goes up there, so you can look through there. In fact, it's usually the other way around. So here we go. Nice. Light comes in, picture comes in here, gets recorded on the camera here, and then this little thing comes out, and you look down the end of it, and that's a lens. Some of these old lenses, they are They are made with these eyepieces stuck onto them because the cameras didn't have the eyepieces. And like I said, I refer you to my previous show. See how much that 100mm costs. Let's have a look. That'd be interesting to know how much one of those costs. I'm always into how much these things cost. So the Bolex macro EVAR 100mm fast macro. Oh my God, $2,500. Oh, I'm feeling faint. That's £1,833. The camera that you put this thing onto, you can get for like £200-300. The lens is £1,800. And that, unfortunately, is, or fortunately, I don't know whether it's unfortunate or not, that is a very common occurrence in the world of photography, which is the back of the camera can often be dwarfed in expense by the cost of the lens. In fact, the prices of some lenses are frankly staggering. Unbelievable price how much some of these cost. Way more than I can afford. I'm going to borrow that from Ed again if he'll let me have it. So yeah, it's the kind of thing. It's a bit like a private plane or a speedboat. It's always better to know someone with one of these things than to actually buy it yourself. Let's see what else. How much else you can? The £2,200. That's for a pair of them. That's for both 100mm. That's the one, and 150mm. Oh my God, you can see right down the road and into the neighbor's windows with that one. I'm not saying you should go and spy on people with these things, but really, you know what, some of the advertising for these really, really long lenses is frankly incitement to illegal activity, because I've seen adverts for these things from the 60s, and they've flat out said it's perfect for filming ladies in the distance. Now, I'm not making this up. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it somewhere and find out where they said it. But they were effectively telling you to be a peeping Tom and to spy on people with these long lenses. I'm really, other than filming landscapes, I don't see what else can you do with them. I mean, but they're great. They're lovely. I'm not going to drop 2,000 quid on one. Jesus Christ, you could buy a car for that amount of money. Insane. Oh look, here's a £23. That's a lot cheaper for a Sankyo. It's a shame none of my Sankyos have that. So yeah, that's the point that most people come to, which is that their Super 8 cameras don't have adjustable lenses. So I bet you're feeling a bit left out by all of this. Don't worry. Got something for you. What have we got? Yes, okay. So supposing I'm going to bring the Canon back here. Okay, right. Now, okay, so this camera, okay, it has its own lens, but supposing it doesn't go wide enough. Well, you can't take the lens off this thing. Well, you can with screwdrivers and a lot of patience. So what are you supposed to do if you want to get even wider than what this lens will allow you? What does this lens go to? It goes to from 60 to 7.5. That's not a bad wide angle. However, they made things that you can screw onto the filter screw at the end. And these are not lenses, they're lens adapters. No, they're not lens adapters. What are they're called? I'm not even sure what they're called, but they made a few of them. I'll get that picture off the background there. Okay, I've got a few of these, and actually they come out a lot cheaper, pretty cheap. So this thing, it's not a lens. It's a wide angle adapter, and they come out pretty cheap. Like I said, here's another one here. And what you do, they have a filter thread, and you simply screw them onto the end of the lens that you already have, if you've got the right thread. So there we go. So that's now got a wide angle lens, and it says on the sides super wide Mercury with a K optics Japan super wide 0.5 times AF high definition digital lens with macro. Bloody hell, they've written a whole book on it. And then you've got this, which is a telephoto lens, which will obviously increase your zoom. So great. So you're thinking, I don't need a camera with removable lenses. I'll just get one of these. In fact, the two of these came as a package for this camera. I'll show you what it looks like when you stick one of these on the end. Let's have a look. Not that. Here we go. So here's some Super 8 taken with the wide angle adapter. That's me and my lovely wife, taken by my friend Karen Bendel. So yeah, it gives you a decent wide angle lens, not the highest quality. I mean, if you're really going to be sort of picky and anal about the quality. In fact, if we go back to the very first, there we go. You can see around the edges, it is getting a bit distorted. Oops, pointing the wrong way. It's getting a bit distorted. So around the edges, it's getting a bit curved there, and around the other side there, that's a bit curved as well. So it will slightly fisheye on you if you stick one of these on. It's not an ideal solution, of course. Using a proper prime lens would be the best, but this is a decent enough halfway house, if you like. You can screw stuff on the end of a normal lens and get results. And this is the result. This is the result from that. Of course, to really show you, I should have filmed it with and without the lens. Where are we going? So that's a possibility. That's a possibility if you want. It's a wide angle or telephoto adapter, which you get put on the end of the lens. Yeah, not perfect, but yeah, it works. Why not? And these things tend to be super cheap. Like you can go on eBay and find a whole set of these things sometimes for like £20 or $30 or whatnot. They're not the best quality. If you're a quality freak, you wouldn't be using these anyway. But if you just want something useful, why not? Stick it on there. Let's put that away. Oh, here's something interesting. UK Airsoft says, have you used 16mm? Yes, I've used 16mm. I have a 16mm lens. I don't use it quite as much as Super 8. I'm going to do a whole show about 16mm. So hold on to your hats. I have to shoot some 16mm to show you, because I don't do a show unless I've got some actual footage to show you. Because what's the point of that? Just showing you the equipment and not showing you how it looks. This is a lens I think I've shown you before. It was from a UMIG camera, a UMIG, oh god, something 80, XL80 I think it was called. The reason the lens is off here is because the camera got destroyed in the process of making my straight 8 film and then run over by a car. But what I wanted to show you here, and I think I've shown you before, this is what's inside some of these Super 8 cameras when you flick the sun or the light bulb setting. When you press that, here it is. Look, this thing, that's the orange filter. That's the daylight filter if you've got tungsten film. In fact, let's we can focus on this a bit better. Oh dear, I've gone too far. That's good enough. So this little filter thing, see, it just gets put forward and backward, in and out from the lens. There we go. See, that thing is connected to the switch probably on the side, and there I have it. So that's the filter. The thing is about these things is that these filters can get discolored. They can get a bit a bit cloudy sometimes. They can mess up your focus. Some people have them taken off from the inside of their cameras. That's a very, very complicated job. You've got to send that down to Bjorn Anderson in Sweden if you want that kind of job. But anyway, so yeah, that's a decent enough lens. I mean, it's not like in this point I can actually attach that to any other camera. But I thought I'd show you. How about video? I hear you ask. Oh, video? Excuse me, video? What is this? What kind of horrible blasphemy is this video? This is after all Ben's camera show, not Ben's Super 8 show. So yes, I don't make any distinction. Well, I make a bit of it. I mean, film's better, but we got to, a lot of people use digital. Let's have a look now. What have we got here? Oh my goodness. Look at this monster. Look at this. This goes on to a Canon Xl1. It's a Canon 14x full manual video lens. It's a nice video lens because it focuses when you turn the wheel. It zooms when you turn the dial, and it exposes as well when you turn this thing. It's completely manual. You're not relying on the camera's servo motors or the digital interface to do any of this stuff. It's very, very manual. It's quite nice that way. This goes on to an XL1. I've got an XL1 to show you. I do. Oh my God, these things are heavy. I'm used to I can't even fit it on screen. This is a Canon XL1. Okay. And this lens on it is the wide angle version. This is a wide angle lens. And this is the sort of telephoto lens. Damn, these things are heavy after the Super 8. So yeah, I'm going to show you what these look like. If you get excited about, ooh, I'm going to buy a video lens and I'm going to put it on a film camera. Not so fast. Not so fast, because video lenses, well, for a start, the mounting is different. This is a Canon mount, and what you need to put it on one of these Beaulieu's. I mean, you can put all sorts of lenses on these Beaulieu's. They're great that way. But if you want to put that on there, it's not going to fit. And even if I got some kind of adapter between the C mount here and the mounting of this camera, the lens is still too far away from the film plane. So it's not going to be an ideal situation. I think the only way to adapt this to make some kind of like amazing sort of hybrid film and video camera is if I was really, really sort of like good at this stuff, and I actually sort of machined it down and then formed a way of doing it. I know one guy who might be able to do this for me, and he's told me not to bother, because in the end, this video lens, turns out colors come out differently depending on what kind of lens you have. And video lenses are actually set up for video cameras, believe it or not. And film lenses, like this little Geno, is set up for film cameras. So I won't say never the twain shall meet, but you've got to do a ton of research before you get hold of a lens to put onto one of these cameras. Anyway, let's see what these video lenses look like while we're at it. Why not? Because of course I did that for you. Yes, I did that this afternoon. I didn't film anything particularly amazing, but there's an ex-warehouse industrial building. Yeah, that's a full zoom, and then I'm going to zoom all the way out. Not bad. Then with the wide angle, whoa, you get all the way back there. This is all filmed on the XL1. You can get really wide, and if you have a wide angle lens, by the way, you can do a lot of handheld stuff, and it kind of absorbs a lot of the movements. You can do handheld, you can do close up. Wide angle is very good for getting really up and close to stuff. And look, I'm getting close up to the previous lens. There we go. So that's the Canon Xl1 video lens, whatever it's called, video and well, wide telephoto and wide angle. So, by the way, I don't know if I've managed I've managed to bluff my way so far, but when I went into the lenses, when I went into looking at these lenses, there are some insane degrees of detail that people go into about these lenses. They talk about, the flange depth, the focal length, the number of elements in the lens. It is absolutely nuts how obsessed people get with the lenses. They don't really care about the cameras as much. Some people, they're so into the lenses. Another Ben has arrived. Ben Marshall. He said, "Oh no, that happened to me while making my first 8mm film. My gran decides to turn it at the last minute and drove over my camera. Luckily, it was super cheap 35 years ago, and it was a jumble sale camera." Ben, get yourself another one. They're cheap as chips. The Super 8 cameras are dirt cheap. The film is not cheap, but the cameras are cheap. Talking of cheap, we haven't talked about phones. That's right, phones, everyone. Believe it or not, phones have cameras in them. I'm old enough to remember when phones didn't have cameras in them. So, and I'm probably going to do a whole episode on phones, phone cameras. Why not? I might get my mate Cy Horrocks to talk about that. Okay, so here's a penny. Here's the phone camera. Not picking up on the green screen, which is interesting. And, you can get kind of close with it. In fact, let's zoom in on the phone screen. There we go. Right. I'm going to show you something I picked up in America for only $6. So here's our phone. That's about, how close can we get without and stay in focus? It's about here. That's about as close as my phone camera can get to this penny and keep it in focus. Any closer? Yeah, it's gone soft. Okay, but I got this jelly lens close up for mobile phones and compact digital cameras. That's how old this thing is. Jelly lens. What's a jelly lens apart from it being $6? Well, I'll show you. This is a fun little thing. It's even got a little keyring thing, so you could actually keep this on a keyring. Okay, so this, it's kind of sticky. It is jelly. It's made of some kind of like sticky rubber right here. And the idea of it is that you stick that onto the front of your camera lens. All right, right, that. Just stick it on and it stays on. Then you can get really close to stuff. There we go. So you can get all the way to there, see? And there we go. Macro. Without messing about at all. That's how close you can get to that penny. With the jelly lens, only $6, and I don't have to mess around with the camera if I want a macro shot. That's a nice little thing there. Yeah. Jelly lens. I don't know where you can get them. I bought this years ago. I'm a hoarder with my camera stuff. I really am. This has been sitting on a shelf for years and years because I knew that one day I might use it. And today is the day. Although, to be honest, if I needed to do some macro, I'd probably just film it with my normal camera lens and then just sort of zoom it up like that. But what's the point of that? Then you lose some definition if you zoom it up. There we go. Fun, fun, fun. Oh. Right, what have we got left to show you? Not much, actually. Bloody hell, it's already 8:10. God, the time flies. You shouldn't see my notes. I might be writing something naughty on there. The jelly lens, the SLR, the divisor. Right, that's it. We've reached the end of everything I know about lenses, everyone. There's so much more. There is so much more to learn about lenses. I don't even know what I don't even know what I don't know, put it that way. There's stuff about lenses which, I mean, we could go into microscope lenses. I'm saving that for another show. We could get into high definition lenses compared to standard definition lenses. I could demonstrate the difference between video and film lenses. I've just done that. I have done that, but I could try and get a video lens onto a film camera. I could try a contact lens on I'm just free forming here. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm like one Google ahead of the rest of you with this, but all I can say is go pay special attention to your lenses. If you're going to buy a camera, make sure the damn lens is clean. Make sure it doesn't have fungus in it. Sometimes I don't know what kind of organism gets its jollies by living on a lens. I mean, what are they even going to eat? Lens coating? But sometimes when you buy a camera with a lens, it has fungus on it. Nightmare. And then but Ben Marshall replied, he's got 30 cameras. He's just waiting for Forania to make some reversal and Super 8 to make things affordable once more. Ah, Forania, yes. That's maybe I should do a show on film stock. All different films. So Forania are known to have made some of the what was it, Fuji? I don't know. They made some of the very nice film stock back in the day. Right. I think it's time for some entertainment, don't you? Of course it is. We've now reached the sum total of everything I know about lenses. It's time to watch a movie, and we're going to carry on with the Black Hole, which we watched some of last time. Now, here it is. Manny was amazed last week that I had the Black Hole on Super 8. Unfortunately, I only have like one 400-foot roll of the Black Hole. You see, what they used to do back in the day, they used to sell movies for Super 8 lovers, people with Super 8 projectors to watch at home. But they cut them down. They cut a whole movie into about 20 minutes of Super 8. And sometimes they did it well, sometimes they did it very badly. I have a cut of Alien. I have a 20-minute cut of Alien, which is about as fulfilling and enjoyable as the full-length feature. They did an amazing job. They even put in some of the slow scenes as well. See, quite often with these old movies that they put in shortened versions on Super 8, is they just show you the action scenes and nothing else, because they figure that's all you want to see. But the version of Alien I have actually paces it really well. I'm not going to show you that tonight. I'm already in danger of being copyright struck. But hey, what the hell? Funnily enough, I did a show at Exploding Cinema the other day, and my mate Duncan Reiki had a film where we used a lot of footage from the original King Kong, and YouTube just cut the whole stream. They just cut it out, and we had to basically, all our audience was bereft of the rest of the film, even though it was like using King Kong in a sort of a satirical way. Never mind about that. That's their problem. Let's watch some more of The Black Hole. The Black Hole, I think the way they cut the film down was they took the last 20 minutes of the film, which is fine, because The Black Hole, basically, there's no action really until the last 20 minutes. So they just said, well, sod it. Let's just put the last 20 minutes in, and that'll do them. So let's get on to it. Yay. I'm going to run out of Super 8s one of these days. We're going to show this on a Sankyo. Lights out. Oh, yes. Back in the day, you had to turn all the lights off. You had to turn all the lights off to watch a movie. And it kind of made it more exciting. Right. Hopefully this is going to work. Let's see. Well, we've got a Super 8 projector standing by. We've got the oh dear, it's not coming on. Oh no. Are we going to oh no, because I didn't there it is. Okay. Uh-oh. What did I do? Oh dear. Okay, there we are. Right, are we... Yes, okay, so that's me. That's me showing my phone light there. We're ready to go. I'll get the sounds up. And, ladies and gentlemen, the climax of the black hole. Here we go. Okay, when we left last time, the ship was about to be destroyed. There's Maximilian. He's the scariest robot ever.
Prepare the probe ship.
Whole ship's falling apart. It's getting sucked down the black hole. I can't remember that guy's name. Now, that's the danger of having a TV that's too big.
Maximilian! Help me!
Most useless robot ever, Maximilian. He's getting crushed by his TV. And Maximilian just buggers off down the lift. Still, Maximilian, he's going to get his. Bastard. Oh, nuclears are the levels. Too high. Was it too high? John Barry music. John Barry. You can tell. Now, one of those little robots, turns out, it's the voice of Slim Pickens. Ah, the big fight between them. Come on, Slim. Oh, no. Bloody anthropomorphic robots. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Maximilian. It's going to kill him. It's going to kill Slim Pickens. If only Slim Pickens had a nuclear bomb he could ride. Oh, dear. Bit too much on the smoke machine there, guys. Oh no! And then look what he does. He electrocutes him, and then yeah, he's got an R2-D2 kind of buzzsaw. He's gonna mess up Maximilian. Good. That robot's a bastard. He had it coming, everyone. Yeah, this is the best part of the movie. Yeah, it kicks his ass. It drills him a new ass and then throws him into a black hole. Oh dear. Who puts glass panels all over a spaceship right next to a black hole? That's asking for trouble. God. Ben Marshall says the ultimate definition of a movie, the ultimate distillation of a movie. Yeah, some did it better than others. I went to a birthday party once and they showed Diamonds Are Forever in like 20 minutes.
No, I can't make it. My hover stabilization's gone, my main circuit's blown, and both backups are failing.
Why does Slim Pickens die in practically every movie he's ever been in?
My useful days are finished, but part of me goes with you.
Well, I've been to one World's Fair, and that's the damn stupidest thing I've ever heard over a pair of headphones. Oh no, he's dead. Oh, sad moment for the robots. Right, leave him. There's an event horizon you gotta watch out for. Just to show you this is actually happening, not just a video. There's my hand. Yeah, it's oh no. Uh-oh. Oh, he's getting sucked off. I mean sucked down the black hole. That's such a James Bond kind of incidental music, isn't it? Sit tight. Sit tight, yeah, that'll stop the black hole from swallowing you up.
Hang on. Lift off.
Lift off? I guess so. Wow, is it going to get away? Are they going to get away from the black hole? It's all about Delta V, everyone. Okay. The end. Well, I guess so. I guess that's the end of... It's the end of the show. Well, that was fun, everyone. It's fun telling you about lenses like I know what the hell I'm talking about. The next show will be next week, Thursday, 28th of January. I'm all over the place with my next shows. I think last week I told you it would be on the 28th, and now it's the 21st. And then a few weeks ago I said I wouldn't be back till March, and no, I just said I wouldn't be. I don't know. I'm date-wise, I'm everywhere. A classic, says UKSL. Let's have some more music. That's it, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. And I've had a lot of fun. I didn't have much fun setting this all up, but once the cameras roll, I am in camera show heaven. Unfortunately, and that's all I've got for you, everyone. I'm going to have to go until next week, and next week I might have another guest on, a guest. I haven't been very good at chasing up my guests, but I have several very, very good high-profile guests which I'm going to get on very soon. I'm going to do a show all about developing. I know not all of you develop your own film, but after seeing next week's show, you might well give it a go. That's right. And so until then, I'm not saying next week will be about developing, but I've got a whole ton of interesting subjects to talk about. There is no end to it. Well, there is an end to it. Eventually, I'm going to run out of stuff to talk about. Then it's just going to be me with a camera just saying, I better go and find out something about this camera. I'll see you next week. And that'll be like a 5-second show. Anyway. Tio Manny, last words from the comments. Dig that movie. Great show, Ben. Take care, everyone. You too. Take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.